We just had a tour. We went most of the way up. I understand. Greg didn't take us all the way to the top, thank you. But we did, and I would tell you, just sitting there and looking at that bridge, it is so clear why this project is absolutely so critical. And I just want to thank everyone, all of my colleagues, everybody who's been working on this, Mayor. Without you, we wouldn't be here. My partner in crime in Congress. So many people have worked on this for so long. And as I was standing up there, I remembered that my first introduction to the bridge was actually back when Senator Hatfield was chair of appropriations in the mid-90s and asked me to come down here because he said, we've got to replace this bridge, the mid-90s. Wow. And we've been, you know, ups and downs and ins and outs and got federal funding and things have happened. And it is hard. It's a hard bridge because we have 2 states, 2 counties, 2 cities, thousands of opinions, 2 legislatures. I mean, the dynamics are incredible, but the need is clear. This is a bridge that needs to be replaced. It is ancient. It is over a century old. It is a safety concern. It is a hazard to people who are trying to drive across it. It is an economic concern because traffic backs up. We all know that. And it has to be replaced, and we can't wait for Mother Nature to decide on the timing. We need to decide that ourselves. So I am delighted to be here. As Maria and I are here today to tell all of you again how excited we are about the $600 billion from the mega project, grant program that Congress has put together, and the announcement of that was just, it was a much needed spirit lifting and economic lifting part of how this bridge goes forward. A lot more work to do. We all know that. I'm going to keep working as chair of appropriations. Senator Hatfield was chair of appropriations when I first started talking about it. Now I am. So we're going to continue to have this at the top of our priorities. There's other funds we need to keep working on. The Bridge Investment Program, which was part of the Transportation Infrastructure bill that I worked on with Maria, and the Capital Investment Grant, part of the transit portions of this. So we need to keep making sure the federal government is a part of this. But everybody is a key player, and I'm delighted to be here with all of you. Thank you for your hard work. We're going to keep forging forward. This is going to get done. So thank you all for being here. And my great partner, Maria, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Patty. It is great to be here with Senator Murray and really appreciate all of her hard work, and now as Chief Appropriator for our nation. I think she understands how important not only our region is economically, but how important this bridge is. And I think she just articulated it. Mayor, thank you for your steadfast, and Eric. And I also see a lot of organized labor here who I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy that we're going to get this thing built, because not only is it construction jobs, but it's jobs for the future of our region. Senator Murray and I worked very hard on the infrastructure bill, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, and 2 very important things got done in that legislation. One, the creation of the mega grant program, which I authored based on what I learned in our state legislature on Category C. All the transportation people will know. We always ate up all the money and then never got anything done, so we created a program just to fix big mega projects. So I took that lesson with me, and as we wrote the commerce section of the infrastructure bill, said we need a mega project funding for projects just like the I-5 bridge. Otherwise, they never get done. And we were able to get $5 billion in there with Patty's help and others. And we also created in that program a new bridge category funding. That came in at $12 billion. So we're here today to talk about not just the $600 million, which we're very thrilled about that investment, but now within the next month, we'll probably be getting feedback for the $1.5 billion request for the bridge money. And so I hope today we can discuss whatever those issues are on the feedback of the analysis of why we think we qualify well for that, given the economic benefits of a bridge improvement, reduction in accidents. People are estimating that we could be adding or saving a commuter as much as 15 to 30 minutes on a round trip if we add the right number of lanes. So all of this, I hope we hear today about how we're getting prepared, not just for the 600 million, but being able to show the federal government we can be ready on the next phase of design and preparation so we can really capitalize on those bridge dollars, the bridge fund that Patty mentioned as well. So great to be here. Glad this project, the federal government is saying, we believe in this region, we believe in this project. This is exactly what we thought we would do when we created this. And this has been, out of that category, the largest investment made out of the mega program to date. And you might have seen that the president went with Mitch McConnell and our colleagues from Ohio and stood in front of a bridge in Kentucky, and then he went with Chuck Schumer up in New York on that bridge project. But this bridge project gets a lot more money, and so we're very happy about that. Very, very happy about that, and good to be with all of you who are working so hard to make this a reality. Thank you for that hard work.
You're up.
I am. Thank you so very much. Senator, I know you were a preschool teacher. As a teacher, we taught our children several things. And people will ask, how did I learn about politics and help move this bridge forward? And it's all of those things we taught our children and when they were our students, the first of which is to say thank you. So we absolutely appreciate it. We are so excited. Yes, we were going to have champagne, but we have a no open bottle in a public building policy in the state. So we thought maybe we could find a secret place in the parking lot and have champagne. But you're absolutely right, Senator. This is that grant that demonstrates that the federal government understands the importance of this bridge and is supporting it. But we also learned to play fair. So as you know, the project, over 2 decades, we've been working on this. We have a lot of bi-state coordination, as you pointed out, to cities, to states, to transit agencies, to ports, to MPOs, and our community has been working on this for decades, and we're committed to seeing this program successfully be constructed, operated, and ongoing for generations to come. But we also learned, and we taught our students to share everything. And so please know that I and our team and all of the North Bank of the Columbia River are committed to seeing this IBR project to the end. We know that it's not just for the city of Vancouver, but for all users, and it's absolutely critical, whether it's for vehicles, a new light rail, our express buses, our world-class infrastructure, pedestrians, cyclists, freight needs it tremendously. But it's for our national economy and our workforce and for all of us who want to be able to move around. Because right now when that bridge goes up, and we so tried to get the sailboat there for you to get you caught up at the top, but it was a little slow. We taught our students to be kind, and so the work that we've accomplished thus far demonstrates that we can prioritize people first and the environment over the politics, and so we'll continue to do that. We also taught them to say please and to don't take things that aren't yours. Those funds are ours. We've been working on them for a long time. So we're absolutely thankful to President Biden and Secretary Buttigieg and all of our FHA, our FTA, all of those. But thank you so very much. We can only imagine how many phone calls and hallway conversations and everything that you've had over all of these many years. And thank Congresswoman Gluesenkamp-Perez, I know her staff is here, for making this once-in-a-lifetime investment. And then that last little piece, always wash your hands and leave it better than you found it. Well, we're going to keep things clean in our site. We're anxious to get this bridge secured with those funds that are still out there. And with that $2 billion from our 2 states, we have a project. And so things are very exciting. We're so thankful. Thank you so very much. Greg, I'm turning this caterpillar over to you.
Thank you. Well, first off, I want to give my heartfelt and deep thank you for our 2 senators who helped make this grant a reality. Number 1, in creating it, and number 2, in advocating for this project. So thank you so much. This project is, as you know, is a long time in coming, and our team is dedicated to getting this across the finish line. We have a timetable of getting construction started in late 2025, which is less than 2 years from now. So we are going through the environmental processes. We have one of the most incredible staffs that's working on it. So if the IBR team, if you can raise your hand, if there are folks here, these are folks like Jim Riddell. Jim came out of retirement. He's like a retired boxer coming out to help us get this thing done. So I feel grateful to help lead this team, and no project gets done without having the support of the senators like yourselves to make this happen. So once again, we're appreciative. We're going to keep to our timeline. The mayor is making sure of that. So she is riding herd, but we also have some other great partners here that are fully engaged in this. So some of the 8 partners, we have Juliana from the Port of Vancouver, Sean from well, I'm choking up saying it because Sean is leaving us, but Sean from C-Tran, and we have Matt Ransom from RTC, and just a number of folks who are helping us get this thing done. So this is truly a team effort, and it goes nowhere without the support of folks like yourself. So thank you.
Wait a minute, isn't that emblem upside down?
We have tried.
I think it's supposed to be the other way.
We'll see on Monday. If I flip it over, you'll know what happened. But thank you so much. So now we're going to go into questions.
Great, and if you can just give us a quick update where we are. Maria asked a critical question because we're coming up on other grant funding. Just tell us where you are, if you could.
So we have submitted for the Bridge Improvement Program grant. We filled that out at the end of November. So we did put in for $1.5 billion, and right now we're hearing that we're going to get a final determination probably early in the spring. So we think we have made the case that this is a multimodal corridor, that we're looking to reduce vehicle miles traveled by giving folks options of how to travel through this corridor, working with the City of Vancouver to create a transportation hub right at Evergreen Street and I-5 is going to be critical to that whole mission. So we're ready. We are planning on having the draft supplemental document released in late April, and the team is working hard to get to those milestones. And then we would be looking to get a final record of decision around this time next year. So,
Shovel in the dirt 2025, Greg?
yes.
So one of the aspects, obviously, of getting that grant is to be able to go forward on the design. And I don't know if in the mega process they gave you some feedback that, on how they were analyzing, various aspects of the project. But if you think that there's something else we should be discussing now to make sure we're in the best position. As Patty and I have conversations with people, there was some discussion about other funding sources that we should be applying for. We were like, no, this is mega. This is mega through and through. So is there something else you think that we need to do to up the discussion with our administration partners on this?
So one of the things that all mega projects are experiencing is this some of the inflation that we've seen in the construction industry. So we are going through a process to where we are going to be reissuing a overall program estimate probably later this summer. So to understand what inflation has done from our last estimate. Our last estimate set us right around $6 billion. So we're expecting that number to go higher. So that's one of the things that we need to be aware of, is that continual creep of cost we are looking at staying on schedule, which is the first trick to staying on budget. We are looking at keeping our project from exploding with different things. We're trying to keep to this is the project and not add a lot of other things onto it. So this is going to be our challenge to make sure that we are doing everything we can. And we have no control over the inflationary pressures that we may see, but we're going to be doing everything we can to stay on time, on budget.
And I just want to interject so that we can get to questions from press before we have to wrap up. I know we're running a little bit behind.
End of the risk analysis. So we're going to be redoing that this spring and summer to come up with a new number given the factors that we're facing.
Okay, thank you. And then I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Senators, will we be able to get that sort of money from the feds? My understanding is $1 billion from Oregon, $1 billion from Washington, maybe 2.5 from the feds and the rest from tolling. Can we get that money from the feds, and are you comfortable with the number for tolling?
Well, tolling is an issue ongoing, and I know you guys are trying to put the numbers together and work that out, so I'll let them speak to that. I can just tell you from the federal side that we're going to do everything we can to try and meet the estimate of what we need. I mean, I go back to what I just said. When Senator Hatfield and I first started this, I think it was estimated at $2 billion, and look what time has done to us. So, yes, prices have increased, inflation has increased. This project is not going to get any cheaper, and that bridge is not going to get any safer. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure we meet the goals that we can.
So I would just say that the $600 million out of basically $5 billion shows that the federal government was committed.
Yes.
And so they're in now. They're in. And so once they're in, they're going to want to see it done. So out of the $12 billion that we put into the bridge program, about a few billion, I think we still have about $9.5 billion left in that. So I think that the region, as long as we answer these questions about how we're going to decrease the commuting time, which is true, and it's a huge value, how we're going to move freight, which is a huge value, how we're going to make this corridor that goes all the way from Canada down to Mexico more efficient for our whole country. My sense is they're going to say yes to the bridge program, and it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. Now, I think the story, not the story, but the interesting point here is, I don't think if we polled everybody in this room, how much did you think you were going to get from MEGA? I don't think that the word 600 million would have been there. They probably would have said 300 million. So maybe there'll be some adjustment in the bridge funding because of that. I don't know. But I think we have a very good case, and they're already said, we like this project. Yeah. So my sense is that we will get money out of the bridge fund and some other, as Patty mentioned, in the future. So I think this is, again, like it's an exemplary national project. That this is exactly why we did the infrastructure bill. It is a project of national significance. It helps the region. So my guess is they're going to come up with that money as long as we get these questions answered. And we can get the design done on time.
We can.
Hey, Greg, can you talk about if the designs are going to change at all, or how are the designs impacted when you talk about this inflationary pressure and another cost estimate? Are we locked in, or are we expecting anything to change?
So we know that holding to what the scope of this project is, we have a 5-mile corridor. So we're going to be looking at everything that's within that corridor. We're going to be doing what's called value engineering to make sure that we are getting the best ideas to reduce cost on this. And that's where you bring in other national experts to look at what you are proposing, and they will give you ideas on how they think you can reduce costs. So those are some of the techniques and tactics that we are going to use to make sure we stay within the amount that we are given.
William with the Columbian. Greg, you mentioned that the inflationary pressures are driving this. Is it the targeted $6 billion range, that's increasing or likely to increase, or is it the 7.5 upper limit?
So we don't have those numbers as of yet. Our team is working on putting together everything that has changed. We did our last estimate approximately a year and a half ago, so we're going to be looking at what has changed in between now and then, what risk elements have gone up, what's happening in the industry. We see construction costs around the country going higher, so we'll be taking that into account.
Is one of the value-added issues perhaps losing an interchange or two to save money?
The scope of the project and the purpose and need of the project are not at conflict at this point. So right now, we are planning on modernizing the 7 interchanges in this 5 mile because this truly acts like one large interchange because they're so closely spaced together. And traffic getting on one and getting off on another are creating those conflicts and the safety issues that we see. So we think that that's a vital part of this entire corridor is getting those interchanges modernized and right.
The Coast Guard question is still outstanding, whether the bridge will be at 116 feet like the program officials want, or 176 with a drawbridge like is also being studied. Are you in any way lobbying the Coast Guard or Coast Guard officials for that lower bridge clearance?
We're having conversations with the mayor and the region, and I know they are having conversations about what to do here and how to approach the situation. And I'm pretty sure if we can get a 100-year-old bridge to accommodate size and height, then we can figure this out for this bridge.
Any final questions? All right, we'll
All
conclude the
right.
press Q&A.
Thank
We'll
you.
let
Thank you.
All right, thank you to everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's do this. Thank you so very much for coming.
Yeah.
I know